Hello, welcome to Medium with the Mic. I'm your host, Kari. Whether you're listening while you're folding laundry, driving to work, or pretending to pay attention in a meeting, hey, I don't judge. I'm thrilled to have your energy here with me. Today, we're talking about something that might surprise you: groundhogs. Yes, those chunky little weather forecasters that pop up every February 2nd. But here's the thing. There's so much more to groundhog wisdom than whether we're getting 6 more weeks of winter. We're going to explore groundhogs as spirit animals, what they teach us, and how understanding spirit animals in general can transform the way you navigate life. Today is a great day to pick a spirit animal and see what it has to share with us. Did you ever imagine there would be a podcast about groundhogs? I surprise myself sometimes. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and let's dig into this. Pun absolutely intended. Before we get into our groundhog friends specifically, let's talk about spirit animals in general. Spirit animals are actually a profound concept that shows up across cultures and throughout history. In indigenous traditions, particularly Native American, First Nations, and other tribal cultures, spirit animals, also called power animals or animal guides, are spiritual entities that offer guidance, protection, and wisdom. They're not just cute metaphors, they're energetic beings that can help us understand ourselves and navigate our paths. From a scientific perspective, and yes, there is a scientific angle here, Carl Jung talked about archetypes, these universal symbols and patterns that live in our collective unconscious. Animals represent these archetypes beautifully. Think about it. When you picture a lion, what comes to mind? Courage, strength, leadership. How about a deer? Gentleness, grace, intuition. These aren't random associations, they're patterns of energy and meaning that humanity has recognized for millennia. Spirit animals can come to us in different ways. Sometimes one animal is with you your whole life. That's your primary spirit animal or totem. Other times, an animal shows up temporarily because you need its specific medicine or lesson right now. And yes, medicine in this context means the healing wisdom or power that animal carries. You might encounter your spirit animal through meditation, dreams, repeated sightings in real life. When you keep seeing hawks everywhere you go, or just a deep, inexplicable connection to a particular creature, pay attention to those signs. The universe is always talking to us. We just need to listen. Now, let's talk about our star of the show, the groundhog, also known as the woodchuck. And before you ask, yes, a woodchuck. Woodchuck approximately 700 pounds of dirt when digging a burrow, according to wildlife experts. You're welcome for that random fact. Groundhogs might seem like unlikely spiritual teachers, but that's exactly why they're so powerful. We often overlook them, just like we overlook the profound wisdom in everyday moments. Groundhogs are famous for hibernation. They spend about half of the year underground in a state of deep rest. Their heart rate drops from 80 beats per minute to just 5. Their body temperature plummets. They're in complete surrender to the cycle of rest and renewal. So, what's the lesson here? Groundhog energy teaches us that there are seasons for action and seasons for withdrawal. In our hustle obsessed culture, we're told go, go, go all the time. But groundhog medicine says, honey, sometimes the most productive thing you can do is rest. And this isn't laziness, it's wisdom. It's knowing when to conserve your energy, when to go inward, and when to trust the right time for emergence will come. If Groundhog keeps showing up in for you, ask yourself, am I pushing when I should be resting? Am I ignoring my need for hibernation? Groundhogs are literally ground animals. They dig elaborate burrow systems with multiple entrances and chambers, some for sleeping, some for bathroom use. Yes, they're that organized, and escape routes for emergencies. They're master architects of their underground homes. Spiritually, this represents the importance of having a solid foundation. Groundhog energy asks, what are you building your life on? Do you have deep roots? Are you grounded in your truth, your values, your sense of self? In metaphysical terms, groundhog medicine helps with root chakra work. The root chakra, located at the base of your spine, governs your sense of safety, security, and belonging. When it's balanced, you feel stable and secure. When it's blocked, you feel anxious, unmoored, like you're floating through life without an anchor. If you're feeling scattered, ungrounded, or like you're constantly in fight or flight mode, call on groundhog energy. Visualize yourself creating a safe, secure foundation. Feel your roots going deep into the earth. Ground yourself. And here's something fascinating. When a groundhog emerges from its burrow, it doesn't just rush out, it carefully observes. It looks around, it assesses the situation. Only then does it decide whether to fully emerge or retreat back to safety. This is brilliant wisdom for us. How often do we rush into situations without pausing to observe? Groundhog teaches us the power of the pause. Look before you leap, assess before you commit. There's no prize for being the fastest. There's wisdom in being the most observant. This is especially relevant in our instant gratification world. We want answers now. We want results now. But Groundhog says, wait, watch. The right timing will reveal itself. Groundhogs are generally solitary creatures, but they do live in loose communities and communicate through whistles and chirps, which is why they're also called whistle pigs. I love that term. But even within their communities, they maintain clear boundaries. Each groundhog has its own territory, its own burrow. The spiritual lesson, you can be part of a community while still maintaining healthy boundaries. You can be connected to others while still honoring your own space and needs. Groundhog energy doesn't demand isolation, but it does insist on respecting your own limits and the limits of others. If you're a people pleaser or someone who struggles with boundaries, groundhog medicine can help you. It teaches you to create your own space, to know when to engage and when to retreat, and to communicate your needs clearly, even if it's just a whistle that says, back off, buddy. Okay, we have to talk about Groundhog Day, the holiday, not just the Bill Murray movie, though we'll get to that because it's actually spiritually significant. Every February 2nd, we watch to see if the groundhog sees its shadow. If it does, supposedly we get 6 more weeks of winter. If it doesn't, spring comes early. Now, meteorologically, this is about as accurate as throwing darts at a weather map, but symbolically, it's gold. The shadow in this context connects to Carl Jung's concept of the shadow self, the parts of ourselves we deny, repress, or refuse to acknowledge. Your shadow isn't evil, it's just unconscious. It's the part of you that you've pushed down because you were told that it wasn't acceptable. When the groundhog sees its shadow and retreats, it's saying, I'm not ready to face this yet. I need more time. And you know what? That's okay. Shadow work, the process of acknowledging and integrating these hidden parts of yourself, can't be rushed. But here's the beautiful thing: the groundhog will emerge eventually. Spring always comes. You won't stay in hibernation forever. And when you do emerge, you'll be ready to face your shadow, to integrate it, to become whole. If groundhog appears as your spirit animal, especially around the time of Groundhog Day, it might be inviting you to do some shadow work. What are you avoiding? What parts of yourself are you keeping in the dark? Are you ready to bring them to the light, or do you need a little more time in the burrow? And speaking of the Bill Murray movie, if you've seen it, he lives the same day over and over until he gets it right. And that's not just a comedy plot, that's a metaphor for spiritual growth. We repeat patterns until we learn the lesson. Groundhog energy can help us recognize those patterns and break the cycle. So maybe you're thinking, this is great, but how do I actually work with groundhog energy? I've got you. Here are some ways. Meditation. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and visualize yourself in a peaceful meadow. See a groundhog burrow nearby. In your mind's eye, invite the groundhog to appear. Don't force it, just extend the invitation. If groundhog comes, observe what it does. Does it invite you into its burrow? Does it sit with you? What message does it have? Trust whatever comes up. A nature connection. If you can, spend time in areas where groundhogs live. Watch them if you're lucky enough to see one. Notice their behavior. What are they teaching you just by being themselves? Journaling prompts. When do I need to retreat and rest? What foundations in my life need strengthening? What am I avoiding looking at? My shadow. Where do I need better boundaries? Am I rushing when I should be observing? And some grounding practices. Since Groundhog is all about being grounded, try these. Walk barefoot on the earth. Garden or work with soil. Practice root chakra meditations. Use grounding crystals like hematite, black tourmaline, or smoky quartz. And eat root vegetables. Seriously, carrots, potatoes, beets. Honor the seasons. Follow Groundhog's example by respecting the natural cycle of rest and action in your life. Don't fight against your needs for downtime. Schedule regular hibernation periods, even if it's just an hour a week where you unplug and go inward. While we're focused on Groundhog Day today, I want to touch on the bigger picture of spirit animals because you might be wondering about your own. Some common spirit animals and their basic wisdom. A bear is about strength, introspection, healing. Butterfly, transformation, joy, lightness. Hawk, vision, perspective, messages from spirit. Owl, wisdom, intuition, seeing what's hidden. Wolf, loyalty, instinct, social connection. Deer, gentleness, sensitivity, new beginnings. Snake, transformation, healing, life force energy. Rabbit, fertility, abundance, quick thinking. But remember, any animal can be a spirit animal. I've known people whose spirit animals were chickens, possums, and even cockroaches. Mine is a turtle. Don't judge the messenger. Every creature has medicine to share. To discover your spirit animal, pay attention to repeated encounters. If you keep seeing or hearing about a particular animal, that's not a coincidence. Notice what you're drawn to. What animals have you loved since childhood? What animals make you stop and stare? Ask in meditation or dreams. Before sleep, set the intention to meet your spirit animal in your dreams. Consult a medium or a shamanic practitioner. Sometimes we need a little help seeing what's right in front of us. Before we wrap up, I need to address something important: cultural respect. The concept of spirit animals comes primarily from indigenous traditions, and we need to honor that. If you're working with spirit animals, do so with reverence, not as a trendy aesthetic. Don't appropriate specific indigenous practices unless you're part of that tradition or have been explicitly invited to participate by someone from that community. We can appreciate and work with animal wisdom while respecting the cultures that have been the keepers of this knowledge for thousands of years. Learn about these traditions, support Indigenous peoples, and approach spirit animals with humility and gratitude, not entitlement. So, beautiful souls, that's our deep dive into groundhog wisdom and spirit animals. Who knew those chunky little fur balls had so much to teach us, right? Remember, spirit animals aren't just mystical concepts. They're practical guides for living a more conscious, connected life. Groundhog teaches us to rest when we need rest, to build strong foundations, to observe before acting, and to honor both our need for community and our need for boundaries. As we move through our days, let's channel that groundhog energy. Let's give ourselves permission to hibernate when we're tired. Let's dig deep and create solid foundations. Let's pause and observe before we act. And let's remember that seeing our shadow isn't something to fear, it's an invitation to wholeness. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If groundhog medicine resonates with you, I'd love to hear about it. And if you're curious about your own spirit animal, spend some time this week paying attention. The animals are always speaking. We just need to listen. Stay grounded, stay curious, and remember, you are divinely guided, even by the most unexpected teachers. Until next time, keep listening to those sacred whispers.